beryllium oxide and magnesium oxides are insoluble in water. The lattice energy is so much high that it is overcoming the hydration enthalpy, and thus the sulfates remain insoluble as we come down the group. Beryllium dissolves in alkali to form berylates. It will form berylates compared to the other metals. Hello my dear students, welcome back to session 5 on the chapter S block elements. Last class we studied about the biological importance of sodium and potassium. Also we learnt about the group 2 elements alkaline earth metals, that is their physical and their chemical properties. So today we learn about uses of alkaline earth metals and also some of the general characteristics of compounds of alkaline earth metals. First, we learn the uses of alkaline earth metals. Among alkaline earth metals, beryllium is used to manufacture electrodes in neon lamps, and also it is used for manufacture of some of the alloys. Also, magnesium is used in manufacture of alloys like magnesium plus aluminium and magnesium plus zinc. It is also used as a reducing agent in preparation of boron and silicon. Okay. Next, calcium is used to remove sulfur from petroleum and last traces of oxygen. Also, copper beryllium alloy is used in manufacture of high strength spring. Then we have metallic beryllium, which is used in making windows of X-ray tubes. Okay. Last, milk of magnesia, that is the suspension of magnesium hydroxide in water, which is called as milk of magnesia, is used in antacids, that is used for any gastritis problem or GERD. Also, magnesium carbonate is used in toothpaste, and salts of radium is used in treatment of cancer. So these are the uses of alkaline earth metals. Next, we will be learning about general characteristics of alkaline earth metal compounds. So the first alkaline earth metal compound is oxides and hydroxides. So if you see oxides, all the alkaline metal oxides are prepared by heating the metal in oxygen, and except beryllium oxide, all the alkaline metal oxides are ionic. We can see that the metal with oxygen, when it is heated, we get metal oxides. Also, the oxides of beryllium and magnesium are so tightly held together in the solid state that they are insoluble in water. So we know that beryllium oxide and magnesium oxides are insoluble in water. You can see beryllium oxide is an exception. It is having a covalent bond. Also, the beryllium oxide is insoluble in water. Next, the heavier metals of the group like strontium and barium are capable of forming peroxides also. So, these metals can react with oxygen to form peroxides. That is the heavier metals. That is, the formation of peroxides tendency increases as we come down the group. Okay. So, that's about the oxides. Coming to hydroxides, the solubility of hydroxides of alkaline earth metals in water increases as we come down the group. So what happens as we come down the group? The hydroxides solubility increases. Solubility increases. So we can see beryllium hydroxide with HCl, it will form beryllium chloride and water. Beryllium hydroxide with sodium hydroxide, it forms NaBeO2 and water. So we can see that beryllium oxide is amphoteric. It is reacting with HCl as well as NaOH. But the other metals, if we compare the oxides and hydroxides of the other metal, you can see their basic character is increasing as we move down the group. That is, beryllium hydroxide is least basic and barium hydroxide is the most basic. So what is happening? The basic character is increasing as we move down the group for oxides as well as hydroxides. Okay. So I hope you have understood. Next is halides. Alkaline earth metal halides, either we take the metal and treat it directly with the halogen to get the metal halides, or we can take the metal and treat it with halogen acids to get halides and hydrogen gases liberated. Among the halides, beryllium chloride, if you see, they are electron deficient and behaves like what? They behave like Lewis acid. As they are electron deficient, they tend to accept electron, and when they accept electron, we call them as Lewis acid. And what more about the Lewis acid you are studying in the chapter equilibrium. Okay. Next, beryllium chloride exhibits different structure in vapor and in the solid state. You can see here, if you see beryllium chloride, it is having a polymeric structure. You can see there is a chain, beryllium with 2 chlorine atoms in between. It is forming a long chain. It can go on, it can continue. So it has a polymeric structure, and this kind of a bond is also called as a banana bond or a 3-centered bond. More about this type of bonding you'll be learning in the chapter P block elements, where I'll be explaining this in detail. Okay. So beryllium chloride, it can be monomeric or it can be polymeric based on which phase it is present in. Okay. Next is about the salts of oxo acids. So if we see the first one, that is the carbonates, all the metals, alkaline earth metals, forms carbonates, that is MCO3, and they are insoluble in neutral medium but soluble in acidic medium. So what happens? They are insoluble in water, that is the neutral medium, but when you add acid, it is soluble. For example, if you take calcium carbonate if you take and try to dissolve in water, it will remain insoluble. But if you add dilute acid, it will liberate carbon dioxide gas and it will become soluble. So with dilute acids, they are soluble. When you do it in the lab, you can observe this trend in calcium carbonate. Okay. These metal carbonates can be prepared by passing carbon dioxide through the metal hydroxide. That is, if you take the metal hydroxide, pass carbon dioxide gas, you will get the precipitate of the carbonate and water is formed. For example, if you take CaOH twice and pass carbon dioxide gas, you will get CaCO3 precipitate and water will be formed. So this is one of the tests which you will be doing in the lab as well. Okay. So what will happen? As we move down the group, solubility decreases down the group. That is, solubility as we come down the group is going on decreasing, or in water or in a neutral medium they are insoluble, but in acids also they will decrease the solubility. Also, they will all of this can decompose on heating, and the temperature of decomposition increases as we come down the group. More and more heat is required for them for decomposition as we come down the group. So these are some of the properties of the carbonates. Next we have sulfates. All the alkaline earth metals, when it is treated with H2SO4, they form the sulfate of MSO4. You can see the metals, when it is treated with sulfuric acid, we get metal sulfate and hydrogen gases liberated. As we come down the group, the solubility of these metal sulfates goes on decreasing. If we see, beryllium sulfate and magnesium sulfate are fairly soluble in water, okay, but if you take barium sulfate, they are completely insoluble in water. So as we move down the group, the solubility decreases. Okay. Now, why exactly this solubility decreases? As we move down the group, the lattice energy is so much high that it is overcoming the hydration enthalpy, and thus the sulfates remain insoluble as we come down the group. Okay. Why? Because there is increase in lattice energy of the sulfates as we come down the group. Sulfates are very stable to heat, but of course it gets reduced to sulfide when heating with carbon. Okay. Next is about nitrates. The nitrates are formed when you take the metal carbonates and treat it with dilute nitric acid. So you take a carbonate, treat it with nitric acid, you will get metal nitrates. All the nitrates are soluble in water. But then if we see magnesium nitrate, it is having 6 molecules of water of hydration. But if you see barium nitrate, it is anhydrous. So as we come down the group, the tendency to form hydrates is decreasing. That is, the metal nitrates hydrate is decreasing. Why is it happening? That is because of the decreased tendency of the hydrate is because of the increasing size and decreasing hydration energy. Why? Because the size increases and hydration energy decreases. Due to this, they do not form hydrates very easily as we come down the group. So you can see here, metal nitrates, if you take, when it is heated, it gets decomposed to metal oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen gases liberated. Again, you're doing this reaction in the lab, where you can see reddish brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide gas which is liberated. Okay. So that's about the nitrates. Next, it's just a revision about all the properties. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium you have in the group 2 elements. As we come down the group, solubility, reactivity, speed of reaction and atomic radius increases. All of these properties increases as we come down the group, and first ionization energy, melting point and solubility of sulfates goes on decreasing as we come down the group. So what it happens? It decreases as we come down the group. Okay. So it is just a revision just to remember how or what are the trends in group 2 elements. Next is anomalous behavior of beryllium compared to the other elements in the group. That is, beryllium is the first one. Just like lithium in group 1, beryllium in group 2 also has some of the anomalous properties. So we shall just see what are the anomalous properties. First one, beryllium in +2 state is extremely small and has got a very high ionization enthalpy, isn't it? Thus, compounds of beryllium are all covalent and it is readily hydrolyzed in water. So that's the first anomalous property. Next is beryllium is not affected by dry air and it cannot decompose water at room temperature. Also, beryllium is amphoteric in nature unlike the other hydroxides or oxides which are basic in nature. Next we have beryllium dissolves in alkali to form berylates. It will form berylates compared to the other metals. Then we have beryllium sulfate which is soluble compared to the others which are not soluble. Then we have beryllium and its salts do not show any flame color compared to the other salts of this metal, that is calcium, strontium and barium shows color to the flame, but beryllium does not show any color at all. Beryllium also forms complexes because of the small size and high charge density, and the other elements of this group do not form complexes. And last but not the least, it shows a maximum covalency of 4. Okay, it can show the maximum covalency of 4 compared to the other elements in the same group. Okay, so these are some of the anomalous properties. Next, we have the diagonal relationship between beryllium and aluminium. Aluminium is placed diagonally to beryllium and aluminium belongs to p block elements, but still they have some similarities which we will learn now. First is both have electronegativity of 1.5 and both beryllium as well as aluminium will form covalent compounds, that is covalent halides are formed. Beryllium halide is also covalent, aluminium halide which is formed also is covalent. Due to the covalent nature, both beryllium compounds and aluminum compounds are soluble in organic solvents and they have a very low melting point. Also, beryllium chloride with water, it undergoes hydrolysis to form beryllium hydroxide and HCl. Similarly, aluminum chloride with water will form aluminum hydroxide and HCl. So, they have same characteristics. Not only that, beryllium and aluminum with alkali, they will form, beryllium will form berylates, aluminum will form aluminates to liberate hydrogen gas. Also, beryllium and aluminum, when it is exposed to concentrated nitric acid, they render passive. That means the first layer of the metal reacts with nitric acid to form a layer which is protecting the metal just below that layer. So, it is making the other part of the metal passive, or those metal which is there below that layer which is formed is becoming unreactive. So, beryllium as well as aluminum, only the first layer it will react with nitric acid to form one particular layer, and the rest of the metal will render passive. So, that is both of them have the same property, beryllium as well as aluminum. Also, beryllium and aluminum carbides are called as methanides. Why exactly? Beryllium carbide, when it is treated with water, it forms beryllium hydroxide to liberate methane gas. Aluminum carbide, when it is treated with water, will form aluminum hydroxide to liberate methane gas. As both these carbides are liberating methane gas, they are called as methanides. Okay. The chlorides of both beryllium and aluminum have got a bridged chlorine bond. Also, they act as a strong Lewis acid, that is, they accept electron. Because of this nature, aluminum chloride is used in the Friedel-Crafts catalyst. Okay. Last is beryllium and aluminum ion show strong tendency to form complexes like BFO2 minus, AlF6 3 minus, etc. Okay. So, that's about the diagonal relationship. Next class, we'll be learning about important compounds of calcium and cement, and also we'll learn about the biological importance of calcium and magnesium. So, I hope you have understood today's class. Thank you, my dear children. Stay tuned, stay focused, stay curious.